If you travel by boat without a visa, you will not make Australia home. The rules apply to everyone, families, children. There are no exceptions.
Refugees trying to come to Australia are detained in places that redefine isolation. Access to the camps on Manus Island and Nauru is virtually barred, so it's very difficult to get a sense of what life is really like in offshore detention. But there were a few people willing to speak to us for this story who have experience in the detention centres themselves.
The Nauru one is in the middle of a mining camp, so it's kind of all white stone and gravel on the ground, big high fences and big white marquee tents. There is some hard buildings, shipping containers that have been converted into portable rooms. Manus Island is very similar. It's right on the water though, so one side of the camp is closed off with a big fence that goes onto the sea, and the other side of the camp is kind of the jungle, and it's pretty remote.
Inside these camps, access to technology is incredibly limited. Photography and mobile phones are banned, and access to social media is restricted via camp computers.
They don't like phones, they don't like photography, and because all mobile phones these days have cameras, they don't want that inside the centre, and that's how they stop that communication. They don't want images of children locked up because that would create sympathy or empathy for people in detention, and people would actually question, why are we doing this? The restrictions on Facebook on Nauru, I think, give a pretty clear example of how governments are trying to control the way people are getting in touch with those on the outside, whether it be family or the media or their lawyers.
So if you were able to get onto a Facebook page regarding Australia, you had very limited access because they didn't want the asylum seekers to see anything in regards to Australian cities or beaches, but the communication back to their home countries and their families was allowed, and that was encouraged because the asylum seeker was then telling their countrymen and their families how bad it was.
Manus Island is part of Papua New Guinea, and in April 2016, the Supreme Court there ruled that indefinite detention on Manus Island was illegal. Since then, we've seen the centres open up somewhat, with information coming out of the camps thanks to mobile phones that have gone in. I got in touch with one refugee there, Behrouz Buhani. Behrouz is a journalist who fled Iran. Soon after he arrived on Manus Island, he sold his clothes for some cigarettes, which he traded for a beat-up old phone. Guards confiscated that phone and threatened him, but then he sold more possessions and bought another mobile. He's been messaging me and other Australian journalists via WhatsApp. He's been publishing photos on his Facebook page, and he's even written articles for Australian media outlets while he's still in detention. He told me, technology is so important to us. It gives us the power to send out our voice. Tech is also a way to shine a light on the horrors of detention. Without access to technology, he said, the Australian government could do anything to us, even kill us, and no one would know. 1,300 asylum seekers are currently in offshore detention, with some having been detained for up to 3 years. We've heard countless allegations of human rights abuses over the years, and these stories were confirmed in grim detail in August 2016 when The Guardian published more than 2,000 reports made by staff in the Nauru Processing Centre. The story of a woman sharpening a pencil with a razor blade before cutting her own wrists, a young person sewing their lips together, rape claims dismissed by centre staff, cockroaches found crawling in a child's hair. One woman told staff, "I just want to die."
I was involved in 3 attempted suicides, 2 of which I was the first responder, so I saved 2 persons' lives, or saved them from certainly committing suicide. Manus Island, the facility itself, would not be allowed to operate here within Australia. It breaks every rule in regards to incarceration.
Images and messages were once smuggled out of detention, but greater access to technology is enabling refugees in these camps to be seen and heard, and the world needs to listen.